Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we are looking at TileWorldCreator. This is a really cool asset for Unity that is currently on sale. Now, if you're a regular to this channel, you probably already know about the mega bundles going on over at Unity. This is basically a humble style bundle, but Unity put it together, and it's a chance to get a ton of add-ons for Unity for very, very cheap. And today we're looking at the one that I personally found more interesting, but some of you guys requested it as well, and I'm going to cover a couple of more of these in time. There's some really interesting things in this bundle right now. If you haven't already watched it, do get liked and subscribed and check that video out. I kind of do a bit of an overview of this bundle itself, but now we're going to go into more detail of TileWorldCreator. We're also going to have a brief cameo from FullScreen Editor, a little quick and dirty add-on that I actually think is kind of awesome, especially if you're doing something like me and doing demonstration, but it's a small tweak to the editor and makes a world of difference. So what we're looking at is TileWorldCreator. What this allows you to do is create tileable maps. You can quickly prototype levels. You have multiple different layers. It includes 10 different demo scenes. We're going to go through a couple of those. Quality presets. The cool thing with this one is you can create your maps, which will work on iOS and Android, and kind of do it automatically, but you can also do this procedurally. So if you want to have like a procedural dungeon maker, you can do so with this example. So there are 4 different algorithms in here for creating maps. And then the other thing we're looking at is quickly FullScreen Editor. What this allows you to do is basically, well, full screen editing in Unity. I'll show you that right off the hop so you'll understand what we are dealing with here. So this here is the dungeon example in TileWorldCreator. And this is me pressing, well, what in theory should be F9, but reality is F9 key was already bound to something, so I bound it to scroll lock. And what it did is it maximized the current view. This is full screen editor. So now I've got the ability to edit this. Now, if you add this with one of the tools for doing quick smart menus, you can do all of your editing in a full screen view. Press it again to go back to normal. So that basically maximizes the currently active view. So here you can see we're at that one, the hierarchy. So that's F9. F10 will maximize the game view, and F11 will maximize the scene view. So that's really all there is to that full screen tool, and it is glorious. That is a heck of a cool tool. So if you want to work, basically, I don't know why this isn't included out of the box. It should be, but that's what it does, and that is very cool. All right, so we are looking at one of the example maps. This is the dungeon example. If you go here and import the package in, you will find there is a folder called demo scenes, and there are a number of different scenes available. And this one is one of the levels. This is using their algorithm. Everything is done. To use this guy, add it to your scene, go to the asset store or the package manager, add the asset in, and then create a TileWorldCreator object. This is the heart of it. You set your random seeds up, whatever you want to do, and then you click build. And that's really it. And now once you've got this, you can actually start painting this map. So here I'm going to go to the top view here, and I'll show you what I mean. So with the world selected, see we've got green and blue tile areas. There are a number of different tiles defined here. So we got different colors. So cell color is green, floor color is blue as an example. So I can paint in green, and you're going to notice it fills in with that color. So see, we now have wall there. So it's, here, let me show you with a different view. All right, so there we go. I'll paint there, and then we're gonna see the wall comes in, or I can press left, and we can delete all that. Let's get rid of all of this stuff, like so, and then I'm gonna switch off to another view, and you see all of that area is gone. Now we'll go back again to the TileWorldCreator object, right click, paint in with the green color, which is the floor, and there you see our wall is back, and we can paint it in. That is the gist of how you use this. It's really simple. It's kind of like auto tile, just in 3D view. And everything is out of this guy. It creates these world objects and world creator, but you basically set up your map, and then you define a number of different tiles. We've got ability here for scattering objects throughout the world, positional objects, procedural objects. So you see you've got the dungeon columns and the torchlight are being spawned that way. So we can create more. The algorithm will take care of all of that one. As I mentioned off the hop, there are multiple different algorithms at play here. What we are seeing right now is the Bsp Dungeon Algorithm. There's also a cellular algorithm, a maze algorithm, and a simple dungeon algorithm. So I'm going to go here with cellular, for example, and then once again, you just come on down here and you generate it. Now, obviously, that is going to make a whole lot less sense because this would be more for creating trains, islands, and so on. Whereas here, let's go back and pick, instead of cellular, let's create a maze, and we will generate a new. And there you see, instead, it is creating a maze type environment. Now, our tiles aren't actually set up correctly for this. You have to have some things defined. But that is the major different algorithms here. So let's go back, create another dungeon here, and we'll create new. There is the dungeon. You don't like that, you can create a new one, create a new one, create a new one. And the cool thing is you can use this for rapid prototyping of levels, or you could use this for a procedural, roguelike style games for creating your levels. Everything here can be done at runtime. For example, let's open up the Runtime Editor project. Open this guy right here. We are not going to save our changes. Once again, everything is done with the TileWorldCreator object. But this is all being generated at runtime. So you can see here, there's how the corners in the interface for the various different tiles, the auto tiles, are set up. You can see an example right there. And I'm just going to say, so this is me running my game at runtime. Let me just scale that in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I can go new, and then we'll make this one, say, 16 by 16 tiles in size and create a new. And there we have a new map. This, again, is not being done in the editor. This is me running the game. This is being done at runtime. So I can go ahead and delete those out, or I can paint right here and bring an island in. So you can actually even use this to create a level editing tool if you so wished. You can create a random set over here. So you see here, you do define your tiles and how they are set up. The cool thing is there is a document on how to handle this stuff. You can also have multiple tiles. So if you have floor tiles, for example, the various different, so you see you've got all these various different columns here. You can have multiple variations in there, so your maps don't just have, one color, one thing. Woo! All right, I'm gonna ruin this one, so let's get out of here. And let's go take a look at one more example of a map. So we got sci-fi tiles right here. Don't save. And here is a sci-fi type environment. Same concept. Again, the star of the show is the TileWorldCreator map. You can set things like, how big is your world, scale it up, and so on. Again, you set the different layers that exist in there. You can have it paint various different things. So in this case, we've got, looks like barrels. Yeah, we got barrels all through the world. So those are available. You can paint objects, position objects, or you can have these procedural objects, such as these barrels here, that are placed in the game world. So if you've got things to populate your world, you can have the algorithm actually handle that for you. And again, left click to paint, right click to delete. And if you've used an auto tiling tool, this is going to look immediately familiar to you, how this works. So again, we can do left click, delete all of those areas in between, delete that out there, and so on. So it just knows to create the boundary tiles. You have to set those up, or again, you can start from scratch like there, build, and there we have a new map, and so on. Part of this I can also do with the seed. So let's pick a new seed, 90210. So this way you'll get some consistency in there. I think that changed. Anyways, and then you come in and you can paint and you can delete. So let's paint, make this pretty solid. All right, so that whole area, and now let's just delete inside here, like so. So that is another example in here where this guy does kind of fall a bit flat. I think this is an example to showcase it, is you get into the world of 2D. So here you can see a 2D environment made with it. Now this is where it's a little disappointing, and I don't think I would pick this guy up if I was interested in creating like a 2D tile-based map, because all of your tiles that you have to create in here, each one of these tiles has to be created as a textured quad. So that doesn't mean, it means it probably won't integrate incredibly well into the 2D tools. So you can see a grid there. Again, I can come in here, left click to draw, right click to erase, and we can create 2D style maps. It's just, this is a lot like what you would get in something like Tiled. It is an auto tiling tool. It's gonna fill in the area where I don't do, so now I'll do an erase in here, and we'll turn that into an inlet, like so. Again, the problem here is your defined tiles are, sadly enough, going to be forced to be 2D quads. So it's not gonna integrate really well into all the other 2D features that are out there. So it may not be the best thing there. You're doing 2D via fake 3D. By the way, everything is documented. There is a getting started guide, kind of walks you through things here, and then the documentation is online. So you can check this out yourself if you so wish. I will have this linked in the linked article down below. But you have some details on how you can do things like create runtime maps. Again, so if you're using this to create like an infinite roguelike style game, you can do so. More importantly, you can actually implement your own algorithms if you so wish. So if you don't like the 4 they provided for you, you can have your own. And then the key thing here is there's instructions on how to actually go about creating your own tiles so that you can create in your own map, you're going to want to bring in your own artwork. The instructions on how to create the 5 tiles, the edge corner, negative corner, block, and ground, the stuff you need to create your maps, there is instructions here on how to go about doing so. And again, if you're creating a 2D map, you're using a default quad object, and then assigning a texture to it. So the 2D side of things may be a little bit underwhelming, but it's definitely an interesting tool out there. And again, the other thing that we looked at today is quite nice. You basically, boom, F9 to pop in full. This is full screen. So actually, let me select something. So here you got your object attached. There you can full screen in any individual window, or you can do F10 to do the game view and F11 to do the scene view. It's just a handy little neat hack. So those are the 2 features today: TileWorldCreator and full screen. In all honesty, the one I'll be using is full screen. That's going to be, it's one of those things I thought should be here all along. Like, I don't know why I can't come in here and, like, the best I can do is that. That's the best you can do with Unity, which, it's okay, but you still have a lot of screen missing, whereas, boom, a lot more focused, a lot less. So this, in my humble opinion, full screen should be integrated out of the box. It's one of those things Unity should just do. I don't mean for them to put a plugin creator out of business, or hire or buy it. That would be a nice compromise between the two. But definitely this is functionality that should be included out of the box, because quite frankly, it is pretty awesome. And it's also easier to toggle back and forth than the other approaches are. So I do like this. So it's one of those things I will continue to use. Whereas Tiled Creator, it's very specific. If you're doing level prototyping, if you're doing procedural dungeons or levels or mazes, really cool tool in that regard. Plus you can plug in your own algorithm. And one more key thing to talk about is you can actually create these procedural dungeons in here and then save them out. Like you'll see here, if you come into the demos, there are a number of maps that they've saved out examples. So you can actually spit out the results of your map generation and obviously use them in runtime. So the things don't have to be 100% procedural. You can use this as a level prototyping tool, and then you could theoretically, start tweaking things and adding things or whatever. But it's definitely an interesting project. And again, this wholesale, this mega bundle thing is going on for 2 more weeks. So I'm going to be covering a couple more of the interesting assets here. Again, if there's something specific you'd like to see, we have another dungeon maker kind of thing up here. Another level editor, Terra World, that's an interesting looking one. But if there's something here that really jumps out at you to cover, do let me know. This one actually paired with full screen, uContext Pro and full screen. That would be kind of a game changer with how you actually go about working. But what we looked at today is full screen and TileWorldCreator, which are unfortunately in the top tier. But for $40, you're getting a heck of a lot of content. So let me know what you think of these bundles in general, the 2 things we looked at today, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.